All right, we're alive. We are
We are
alive.
live.
All right, here we go.
Peace.
I'm reading the
How's your pay?
1619
Hey,
project,
put my
and it
phone.
is so fascinating. Let me share some of this information with you. Take a look at this couple. Aren't they amazing looking? This was taken in the 1940s. Now, let me tell you about this family. Elmore Bowling was a man, he was in a one-man economy, and he had a large house, a general store, a delivery service, a catering company, and a gas station. He also had grown cotton, corn, sugarcane, owned a small fleet of trucks. At his death, he had $40,000 in the bank and $5,000 in physical assets, which today would actually mean about $500,000. Take a look at this family again. About a week after this picture was taken, there were some angry whites who deemed him too successful, so they decided they were going to kill him. They tracked him down in his truck, 7 people, gunned him down, back of the head, back, shoulders, and left him in the gutter, dead. His family came running to him. They were a few blocks away, and everything went downhill from that. And this title is called Inheritance. That's why so many Black people don't have generational wealth, because so much of it was stolen and taken away from our ancestors. Check out this book. It's pretty powerful.
Wow.
There you go.
The
only thing worse than hearing about the evil things white people did to Black people is hearing the stories from the people that experienced it directly.
Patton and his fellow activists came up with a strategy to overwhelm the system. In June of 1963, they turned up at the county courthouse with a group of local Black residents who dared register to vote. After the sheriff's office arrested Cotton and the other SNCC leaders, they were fined and initially sentenced to 4 months of hard labor. But instead of staying on the county penal farm for their full sentence, partway through, they were transferred to state prison. So they take you to Parchment. Was one of the worst places to be in America. Activists faced extreme violence and deprivation at Parchment. Cotton told me of the brutality he experienced after he asked for food that another inmate had refused.
They hung me, stretched me the top of my tiptoes and hung me to the bars by my wrist, handcuffs. Yeah.
So they tortured you?
Of course, that was the name of the game. But they might have let me stay there until I perish. I don't know. But just so happened, the International Council of Churches came to investigate. So their representative came and saw me hanging. And of course, by now, my clothes were full of pieces and all. Maybe that was a straw that broke the camel's back. And they were able to bail us out.
I'm so sorry. I don't...
You should be glad. Should be glad that we had to sacrifice to do what we had to do. Because somebody had to do it.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. This is a must watch, the 1619 project.
Yeah.
Reaction, especially from a lot of white parents, which is that you're telling, in school particularly, that you're telling my kids that we're all racist and you're making them feel bad about their country. How do you respond to that?
I would love any of those parents to point out any passage, any argument in the 1619 project that says anything about all white children are racist or all white people are racist. That's clearly not an argument.
No, it does not say that.
It doesn't imply that.
But it does say
either.
that it's at the very center of our national narrative.
It is.
What's your response when people say that you're saying the country's racist and that this is a central part and making them, the kids, feel bad about it? Are you saying parents are wrong?
Yes. I think that I don't know how one can argue we were not founded as a racist country. I believe that we were. I believe that the record is clear. If you're founded as a country where Black people, because they are Black, don't have rights, don't have freedom, if you have a Supreme Court that's dominated by enslavers, 10 of the first 12 presidents dominated by enslavers, our founding fathers dominated by enslavers, if you have these things, the father of the Constitution was an enslaver, the drafter of the Declaration was an enslaver of the Bill of Rights. So to argue that people who were explicitly white supremacists in their writings, I mean, the notes on the state of Virginia says Black people are inferior as a race. That is a racist foundation. This is just a factual rendering to me. Now, does that mean that most white Americans are racist? The project doesn't argue that. But what it does say is that systems of racism that have been set up over centuries don't simply disappear because we passed laws in the 1960s saying you can no longer explicitly discriminate against Black Americans. What I say in that essay, I'm 45 years old. Until a decade before I was born, it was legal to discriminate against Black people in every aspect of American life simply because we were Black. And this was in federal law, state law, and local law. So I don't understand how factually anyone argues that we were not a racist country, because we were racist by law for the vast history of our country, for the first 350 years after the colonists landed at Virginia. But there's a different argument than saying, our country has done some terrible things, and saying you are responsible for what our country did a long time ago. Nothing in this project or critical race theory argues that white Americans today bear responsibility for what happened in the past. Though certainly I would argue they bear responsibility for what they are doing about the inequality that this past created.
Let's get it.
Shout out to Nicole Hannah.
Yeah.
She's really doing her thing with the 1619 project. Y'all must watch it. It's on Hulu.
We all know white people just don't want to be uncomfortable, basically. You know, they just want to go through life without being reminded of what it was like back in the day. Where is this thing?
But they documented everything. They documented everything. They looked at us as cattle, as animals. So they documented. We was money to them. So why is they mad at something they documented? And they kept it.
All right, here we go.
With the knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow, the Black Therapy Show. You be in a safe space, dealing with the Black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know it, Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany. You'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We be giving you empathy, we gon' challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all the schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God up above. No, it's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show. Let's go.
Yeah. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Tiffany, what's going on, sister?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Excuse me. This is fair use. This is educational purposes. This is our views. Okay, go ahead, Carl.
Right. Now I was saying, what's up, Kev? Ben.
What's up, man? What's this show sponsored by Lens Crafter? Everybody got glasses on.
Oh yeah, we got the reading glasses on. We about to do some reading.
Show sponsored by Lens Crafters.
Yeah.
Show sponsored by Stevie Wonder. Okay.
Make it look smart. Hey, what's up, Donna?
What's up?
Well, I want to thank everyone for checking in with the show
Yes.
tonight. We're gonna hit some very interesting topics, as we always do. We don't, guys know we don't play. As you saw, we are going to talk about the series on Hulu, which Tiffany turned us on to, which I had no idea was a thing, called the 1619 Project. What's the 1619 mean? What's the relevance of 1619? Tiff, do you know?
I think that's the time when the slaves came in. When the slaves
Yeah,
came in and
that's the year the slaves came in.
yeah, when everything started.
That's when
So that's
when
where
it all
she's,
started. That's when it
yeah,
all
where
started. Yeah.
she's documented.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna tackle that, and as I said in the description of tonight's show, we're gonna talk anything Blackity Black Black that affects Black people. That's what we'll be talking about. I'm also, me personally, I want to talk about um, actor Idris Elba or Alba.
Idris Elba.
Idris
Yes.
Elba. He's saying he no longer wants to be referred to as a Black actor because it puts him in a box. Blah blah blah. I don't know how you can be a Black person and not want to be referred to as a Black actor. That's what you are. You're Black and you're acting. You're a Black actor.
Yeah.
You're Black and you're a police officer. You're a Black police officer.
Yeah, just like they call Malcolm X the Black Muslim, where
Right.
it's just Muslims. You understand what I'm saying? Muslim come in all colors.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't know why he feel like that. He's in an industry where they only see Black actor.
Right. So we're gonna touch on that, and also touch on, this is me. I want to touch on Morgan Freeman. Also, he said back in the '80s that we don't need Black history, which kind of piggybacks on what Idris Elba said, or Idris Elba is piggybacking off of what Morgan Freeman said. But I got my thoughts on that, and also about a lot of white people saying, how come we don't have a White History Month, which is the dumbest thing. I don't know why they even say that.
I did see that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. When are we going to have White History Month?
Because this is a white life.
Right. Right. It just shows how far removed they are. And Tiffany, can you give us a little bit of what you want to hit on tonight?
No, what I wanted to definitely talk about the 1619, but I don't think we can be able to do that in just, segment.
Like you and I talked about, we're going to do a little bit tonight, and then next Sunday, we're just going to.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's like, I think it's about 5 to 6 episodes, and we need to nitpick on each episode because we need to talk about these issues and find out solutions. And this is why we have our show, so we can have the conversation. It's time for the conversation.
Absolutely. So you started watching this, Tiffany. So can you give us kind of a breakdown as to what, because I haven't seen it. I actually told you I just subscribed to Hulu just so I can see the 1619 project.
So it's more of it's a 6-part series, and this is what we are asking our people that's watching us. We want you to watch it because we want everybody to talk about it. We want people to comment about it. It's just the history of America. It's not just us as Black people. It's the history of America, Blacks and whites, Indians. It breaks down everything of what was going on from 1619. And Nicole Hannah is actually a mixed sister. She's mixed. Her mother is a white sister. Her father's Black. And she talked about her father working very hard. So, you learn a lot. So I do, like I said, we spoke about, beginning in March, we want to at least talk about each episode and have the conversation of what's really going on and how can we solve these problems. Because once we recognize it, we can solve them. For us as Black people, we have to have some type of solutions. But it talked about a lot. It talked about Harris Neck County, Georgia. They had a whole Black community. It had almost 72 families, 100 acres. And in 1942, they burnt them out. They put them out. They had to go. They bulldozed them out of there, and they talked about that in there. So it's like a lot of us is scared to get land, or we want land, or we want to build something. Would they try to tear it down? Remember the Mallorys we talked about last week?
Yes.
The Mallorys is down there. People they came out and fought for them, talking about how people are giving them problems with their land or trying to take their land. So yes, please, everybody, check out the 1619 project so we can break down each and every episode about, what we can do and what we learn.
Now, Kevin had mentioned that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, he's banning this is one of the books that he banned in Florida, but now they came out with a series on Hulu, so I don't know how he's going to ban that. Obviously, he can't. But what are they so afraid of? Like, I mean, this is not about making up lies. This is not about, fiction. It's the truth. It's what happened. So, I mean, like I said, even before we went on air, it's like a lot of white people just don't want to be uncomfortable, right? They just don't want to hear it. They know, yeah, we did a lot of horrible stuff back in the day. We just don't want to hear about it.
But we gave y'all free schoolings and free places to live, so you have nothing to complain about. That's what they feel.
So, what are your thoughts, Kev? What are white people so afraid of?
Well, I think they don't want their kids to know the history of the country. So it goes to the kids, the teenagers, and the younger kids, and they don't want them to know the history. They want them to know that they want it to end at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream speech, which you hear, every January and February, and they want you to say Barack Obama became president and everything's okay. And that's the Black history they want you to know. Dr. King said, "I have a dream. Everybody get along," and we elected a Black president for 8 years, and that's what they want Black history to be because they're comfortable with that. So I think they're just afraid of their kids finding out, the history of this country, which is very bad. It's nothing to be proud of. Carl and Tiffany, it's absolutely horrible. It's our Holocaust. And the thing about it, speaking of the Holocaust, is they don't mind teaching about that because it didn't happen on this soil. I say that a lot on the show. The Holocaust happened on another country.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it wasn't at the hands of white Americans,
Right.
so they can care less. They care less about teaching that history, the Holocaust and stuff like that. But because our forefathers, George Washington, Lincoln, and and the rest of them, our generals like Robert E. Lee, and all these guys were so involved. Now you think about a guy like Grant, President Grant, and General Grant, who fought. He led the Confederate soldiers to fight for Black people not to be put into slavery. So it's not all white people, and I don't think Grant gets enough credit for who he is and what he did and what he believed in. I think history cheats Grant. To be honest with you, if anybody know anything about him, I watched a lot of documentaries on Grant. He was one hell of a general, and he led, our army to fight against the Confederate. And he kicked Robert E. Lee's ass. And if he didn't kick Robert E. Lee ass, we wouldn't be having this podcast right now, probably. We'd be out in the field still picking cotton. So, it's not all white people. We said all the time on this show, it's not all white people. But Ron DeSantis, for example, has an audience, and he has an audience that listens to him, like Trump did. So he is saying, let's ban the Black history. Let's ban all these books about Black history. And the reason he's saying that is because he is playing to ignorance of millions of Americans that do exist in this country. And he knows that there's lots of Americans who have fear of change or Black people prospering or Hispanics prospering or whatever, and people coming over the border into this country getting jobs. There are white people that are terrified of seeing Black and brown people in this country.
Yeah. And that's why
they're jobs and careers and
yeah,
right, yeah, and living. It's okay when you were just in the ghetto. It's okay when you were just, Hispanics were just cutting your grass and picking your fruit for the grocery stores. But now that they own businesses and are buying, $1 million homes next to you in your neighborhood, it's a problem. Now that black people are living in the White House,
Obtaining
or
wealth.
black people are attaining wealth and doing all that sort of stuff, it changes the game. Uh, Barack Obama changed the game. He opened up a bunch of floodgates. No matter what you think about him as a president or what he didn't
Yeah,
do
he
for black
did
people,
open
and I
a
hear
lot
that
of
all
people
the
got
time.
their ass killed and beat.
But
That's when.
It seems as
yeah,
long as
but
we
yeah,
stay in
you're
our
right.
place,
You're right. But
man.
he opened up the floodgates.
Hold on. What you said,
Yeah,
Carl?
open the
I
floodgates,
said it
man.
seems as long as we stay in our place.
That's it. You're right.
Yeah,
They want us to
basically.
stay in our
That's
place.
it. Yeah,
Don't try to advance.
yeah.
Don't try to gain wealth. Don't try if you black people would just stay, stay in your place and don't try to do anything fancy. Don't try to get a house. Don't try to, have a family and it's
But
like they
what's
want you
wrong
to
with
have
that?
nothing because
We practically built this country. We should not have a problem with wanting to get a house, wanting to get some land, or wanting to get a cow or something. That should be something, American dream. We're not bothering you, but as soon as you see that we are trying to do something and we well at, remember, we do things well. We do things great. We are a success, and everything we touch turns to gold. So that's another reason why they are scared, And it's sad, but I'm happy that we are starting to talk about it. All this information is coming out.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
like the guy said, white parents are saying that the 1690 project is making white kids feel bad about being white. No, I
No,
mean,
it's not.
well, every day we have to deal with
No, it's not.
feeling bad because you're black. Every time you look on the news, they show a black man.
That's that Karen syndrome.
So it's like white people value their feelings over black people's existence. As long as they don't feel bad about what their ancestors did, then you know that's all that matters. Just don't make us feel bad. That's pretty much what he's saying.
Yeah,
Just,
plain point blank.
yeah, just don't hurt our feelings.
But it's all good. You
Well,
know
he's getting
why?
away with it because he put the band in.
Yeah,
But
it's a good band.
But they still love our music. They young kids still come to our music, listen to our music. It's not gonna stop them, And if they want to stop the history, we still got to teach the history ourselves. We have to teach our children history. My mother, they taught us what you said, the Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, like those main people they talk about. But my mother made sure she told us about Black inventors. She told us about Black historians. She taught us this. So we're gonna have to just teach our children the history, But them stopping history, I'm not surprised. That's a southern state.
Yeah, and we're not teaching it with violence. I mean, we're not saying let's go out and get those white people. Just go out and hurt them. Let's go out and harm them. Let's go burn their houses down. Let's go tear up their schools. That's we're saying this is what
But
happened.
their rhetoric is dangerous, though, Carl and Tiffany, because there's thousands and millions, I should say, white kids that listen to rap music and stuff like that. But there's also people that's being influenced by, people like Ron DeSantis. And those people are the ones who drive across state lines and go and shoot up a black grocery store. And the Dylan Ruths of the world who went into a church, and the guy who up in Milwaukee, I think, who Paul
Talking
Rittenhouse,
about
those guys are out there too, and they're young people, but they're being influenced the opposite way, And I don't know what music they listen to, but they're being influenced with hate. So there's as millions and many white kids that listen to rap music, there's probably another million that are going to put their out who are buying into the hate too, because you got these kids that can't find good jobs, and who do they blame? They're going to blame black people who can't find a good job. I can't get through school.
Blaming the Spanish people.
They're going to blame us for everything they can't do, on their shelf, on their own. So we're the punching bag for black white kids who aren't doing well. So they
And
the
they got better
Hispanics are taking all the
schools.
jobs, and the blacks
They
taking all
got
the
better.
jobs.
Yeah.
They too much. They got better schools. They got better everything than us, and they want a history month. See, I can't take it. Do you know they just gave the Buffalo Killer 30 years too in jail?
That's all he got.
He got 30 years.
So
gonna
that
come
means,
out an old white.
but So wait a minute. So he's gonna have an opportunity to.
Are you sure he only got 30 years? Wow.
I swore he got 30 years. I think Nipsey Hussle
Wow.
Killer got more than that.
The guy that
Yeah,
killed
he got 60.
He got 60 years.
Yeah. Wow.
The Buffalo Killer got, and he killed what, 6 people?
Yes. In a supermarket, minding their business, going food shopping.
And all he got was 30 years.
Yes.
That's crazy. That is.
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle Killer. He got 60 years, and they said they gave him 60 years because he was down with that group or something. What's that?
Yeah.
I don't know what that. Yeah. So that's just horrible. Yeah, 30 years, and then he actually did an apology. Like he was really like, "I'm sorry, I never knew." It's too late now. You done did what you done did.
But no, they got him good, Tiffany. They got him, Tiffany. They got him good. They got him.
He got more
the
than
Buffalo
30.
shooter. Yeah, he got life in prison without parole.
Okay. 30 plus years in life. Okay.
Somebody did get 30 years though. I'm trying to figure who did get. Somebody just did get 30 years though, Tiff. I'm trying to figure out who it was. Somebody did. I did see on the news somebody got 30 years doing something stupid. But yeah, Buffalo
was it
shooter.
R. Kelly? Was it R. Kelly? He got 20 to 30 years.
Could be R.
Something.
Kelly, yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, Buffalo shooter got sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Life in prison.
So
okay.
he's coming out of jail in a body bag, and he's only 22 years old, right? So he got a long life
But he got enough life in prison in the jail. He'll be in there.
Yeah, well, he's gonna end up being somebody's girlfriend probably. So
yeah, somebody's bitch.
So this is the video that every Black History Month the conservatives show of Morgan Freeman.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
I'm confused.
Yeah, let me show this other video. That's just.
I don't know what to say.
Here's why Morgan Freeman was wrong.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
Every Black History Month, conservatives amplified this Morgan Freeman interview.
I don't want a Black History Month.
Let's debunk the arguments made here point by point.
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
The first problem is that he conflates celebration and relegation. Christians don't call Christmas ridiculous because it relegates Jesus to December. I promise you we can celebrate Black history anytime. In fact, I do that right here, so follow your boy.
Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh.
March is Irish American Heritage Month, and the interviewer is wrong. May is Jewish American Heritage Month. German Americans and Polish Americans celebrate their heritage in October.
I don't want a Black History Month.
That's good for you. Don't celebrate it. But the Pew Research Center found that more than half of Black Americans polled said that being Black was extremely important to their identity. Black History Month is popular in the Black community. So Mr. Freeman's point is a minority opinion.
Black history is American history.
True. We agree right there.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it.
Wrong. We disagree. This argument really doesn't make any sense. It's like saying stop talking about cancer and it will magically disappear. The reality is that we didn't talk about racism for hundreds of years, and yet Black people were still in chains.
I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
This is such a terrible take, I have a hard time knowing where to start. If we stopped calling every lighter-skinned person white and every darker-skinned person black right now today, the lighter-skinned people would still possess 10 times the wealth of darker-skinned people. The lighter-skinned people would still live in a country that never made them property because of the color of their skin. To stop talking about race is a shallow solution to a deep problem. Morgan Freeman is an amazing actor. He is a legend, but maybe not the most thoughtful social scientist.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
So people like Morgan Freeman, I think people like Morgan Freeman, and I throw Idris Elba into that whole pool of black people that look around and they see that white people are in charge, white people have all the power, and they just give up. They just give in. They just go, these people are never gonna let up with their, so I'm just gonna join them.
They're comfortable. Why should they argue? They got food. They got a roof on top of their head. They just got to do an act here and there. Why are they going to make the white man mad? Why are they going to make their boss mad?
Yeah.
I think Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman is not a young man. He's up there. So he's been on this planet for some years. So he's had to experience some serious racism considering his age, right? And I think he's from the South. So, but he's right now, Morgan Freeman's net worth, I was checking it out. His net worth is $250 million. So when you got $250 million in your bank account,
you would say
you
anything.
shouldn't be afraid of nothing, but especially at his age, but still, I'm confused, by what he said.
Why they said
I
sorry?
don't think he meant what he said. I'm trying to read between the lines, Tiff. I don't think he meant what he said. I think it came out wrong, maybe, or we're misinterpreting what he was trying to say. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt that he was not saying what he was saying. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong a lot.
But they say they use this every year. The whites, they said the white what you call them, the journalists.
Yeah.
They use this as an example, and then you can see that they break the video down. You got white history month. You understand? Like you for real?
I don't think he misinterpreted Kev. I mean, I think he said what he said, and he believes what he said, and he probably believes that if we stop talking about racism, it's going to magically disappear. Because in his world, you got to remember, and Kev, you're in this world. I'm in that world where when you're in that celebrity world, the white people are the nicest people, right? All the white people around you are nice. They, you know what I mean, and all that. So I think you kind of get out of touch with what it is to deal with race, because he's a celebrity wherever he goes. White people love him, taking pictures with him and all. So for him, life is great, right? Life is great. The only way to be treated terribly as a black man if they did not recognize him, right? Like when they did not recognize Oprah, and she tried to go into that store and buy a $10,000 handbag.
I probably wouldn't recognize her either.
So nobody recognizes Oprah without the makeup. So
but Morgan Freeman, we want to salute his work because he do work, and I think he's the voice of God sometimes. But he still got some skeletons in his closet.
Yeah.
Okay. He needs to go and sit down and enjoy his retirement. I don't like when people start popping stuff and some of their stuff that was broadcast on this in the media and stuff like that. So I don't, and that was old. That's an old video.
Yeah, that was in the 80s. That was 80s.
And they still running something
from
the
80s. Wow, they're still running it.
They still running something from the 80s. So listen, he should be enjoying his retirement.
But he might change. He might not feel that way right now, right? He might not feel that way anymore. And they're still running that clip because they can't get rid of it, It's funny.
It's too late. It's like it's set in stone now. They've been using it. They probably own it. They probably paid him for it.
This show is on YouTube, so whatever we say on this show will be written in stone, even when we're dead and gone.
Yes.
You know, we'll be gone one day, and this will still be in the universe.
Yes.
You know, our images and our this.
Future and
Yeah, Tiff,
past.
you're immortal, Tiff. You're going nowhere. You know,
I'm
it's
forever.
like yeah. I was watching Andy Griffin last week, and I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching him that everybody on that show, except for Ron Howard, is deceased. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, everybody's gone on this show, but we still watch it. Even
Yeah.
in this day and age, we're still watching a show where everybody's gone, and we're still here entertained by these people. You know, you're never, you know, once you're on television or in that world, you're never gone ever because you're going to be, you know. So be careful what you say here. People be listening to this 50 years from now. So,
Sure, I be careful
you
what I
know,
say because my mother is in the room.
Yeah.
yikes. Well,
Well,
Tiffany, you need to warn me that your mother's listening to my mouth, okay?
First of all, she
You know,
watches our show, so she's one of our
okay.
biggest fans.
All right. So here's I
Oh,
want to talk a little bit about Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. What
Yeah,
is up with
Idris Elba. So here we go.
Idris Elba says he no longer refers to himself as a black actor because the label put him in a box and an obsession with race can hinder aspirations and growth. It's supposed to be an S on the end of put. Not put in a box, puts in a box. Proofread, people. And I agree. I don't see nothing wrong with this statement. And I know it's going to be a lot of hoteps and fake wokesters that's going to be like, oh, Lord, here we go. Another nigga cooning, selling out, denying his blackness. No, this is not him selling out. I know selling out and this ain't it. Trust me, I'm quick to call out any type of coonery. He said he doesn't want to be referred to as a black actor, not a black man. There's a difference. I agree. Call me an actor. They don't do Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt like that. They don't ever say the white actor, Brad Pitt, the white actor, Tom Cruise. No, they just call them actors. So yeah, call that man an actor. I stand with Idris Elba on that. What if you at the hospital, you in the hospital bed and the nurse be like, oh, just hang tight. I'm gonna go get a black doctor to come assist you. Whoa, wait a minute. A what doctor? Black doctor. Why it's gotta be a black doctor? Why you can't just say doctor? I don't need you to remind me that I'm black. I know I'm black, and I stand firm and proud on that. But just call me an actor. Yeah, kill all this black actor stuff. Actor.
I
agree.
understand what he's saying, but he's still going to, whether or not they call him a black actor, they're still going to, even behind closed doors, they're still going to see him as a black actor. They're still going to give him roles that they wouldn't give. They're not going to consider him for roles that like they would consider Tom Cruise. He would always be a black actor.
I'm a black juggler. I mean, I'm a juggler and I'm a magician by trade, but I don't want to be referred to as a black juggler. I don't want to be referred to as a black comedian.
You will be.
I just want to be a comedian.
Right.
I just want to be a comedian. I know, but I just want to be a comedian. Like when I see my name on a billboard or on somebody's website or my name on a billboard, when I go down to Myrtle Beach or to Florida and they got me up on a big billboard, it says comedian Kevin Lee. It doesn't say black comedian Kevin Lee.
Right.
You know?
Well, they can't do that now.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
but it doesn't say, but when people come to your show and they leave and they're talking about, I'm sure they'll say, oh, we saw a black comedian, he was so funny. Or it is just.
I mean, that's a possibility.
But it is part of America, even though we want.
That's a possibility.
Right.
It's a possibility. I don't know if that really happens though, Carl. I mean, people that come to my shows know I'm black. People come to my shows know I'm black anyway because I'm usually the headliner. So my picture is on the websites or the billboards or the promo stuff. So they already know I'm black when they come to see me.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying, Kev. This is America. Regardless of how you want to be referred to. Regardless, I would just love to be a person walking down the street or a person just going. But when I go out, I am a black person in public.
A black man.
Yeah. Regardless of what I would just like to be referred to as Carl. Just me. You know what I mean? That's how I don't feel black. I just feel like a person. But society sees me as a black person. This is why people step off the sidewalk when I'm coming. This is why white people cross the street, because I'm a black man coming towards them. But to me, I'm just a man.
Not because you're a man. Right. It's a
Right.
difference.
So
Like,
Idris Elba, everybody would love to be referred to as just a person, an actor, but this is America, and this is the way it is in America. The races are separated, and should it be
it's
changed?
labels.
Yeah,
It's labels.
we would love to change it,
So
but
Tiffany,
it is
so
what it
Tiffany,
is.
Them labels.
so Tiffany, if you get hired to do makeup and hair for a white actress who's famous, right? Let's say Mariah Carey's people hired you to do her makeup and hair for a video shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you walk in the room, Mariah Carey and her staff ain't gonna turn around and go, "There's a black hairstylist here for you, Miss Carey." You know what I'm saying? Right? They're just gonna say the
Right.
hairstylist is here to do your hair, Miss Carey, Mariah. They're not gonna say a black hairstylist just showed up,
No, they can't
to
do
do
that,
your hair.
but
Well, they're not. They probably not
probably
even gonna
think
think it. Though, is what I'm saying.
yeah.
But I'm saying they're not
Listen, as
even
long
gonna
as you
think it,
think it
right?
and you don't say it, you good.
Yeah, I'm saying they're probably not going to think it though, because you're just a hairstylist at that point. And some professions, Carl, I get it. Some professions, like we're in show business, Carl. We're entertainers, right? And I know, I hear you, brother. We deal with it. We deal with being black every day. I mean, I'm not famous, So when I go to a hotel and I'm staying in some fancy hotel, I do get stared at when I walk into a 5-star hotel sometimes. Uh, when I go down to the breakfast bar, I'm being watched or whatever. This guy got a room key here. I get it. We deal with that every day of our life, right? So, but I think what he's trying to say is he don't want to be. I don't know. I think what he's
Labels.
saying,
I hear
labeled
what
as
I feel what
like
he's saying.
Michael Jordan didn't want to be a black basketball player. I mean, he's a basketball player who happens to be black. I'll make a. Let me see. Jim Kelly is a martial artist who was in Bruce Lee's movies back in the '70s, right? Now everybody go, that's the black guy, because he was the only guy at the time in the '70s. Jim Kelly was the only black actor that was in those type of action movies. So yeah, people go, that's the black guy. He had an afro. It's the '70s, and he's in movies with Bruce Lee and all these other people. So yeah, he stood out like a sore thumb. So yeah, he was the black actor.
But we didn't make this up. They did it. They made up all of these
Right.
different type of labels to divide and conquer, to separate us. So I'm not into the labels, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Idris Elba, please. You're a black actor, and yes, you're an actor, but in their eyes, you're a black actor.
Yeah.
We don't want to be labeled, but that's how they think. Like you said, American. Matter of fact, he's in Europe. He's where everything started at. They're the originators of this racist stuff. So, I mean, what can you do? He needs to write them a letter.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, Kev, really. I'm just saying, regardless of how we want to be looked at, I mean, okay, you and I are walking down the street. There's 2 other white guys walking down the street. 2 white policemen drive by. Who you think they're going to look at suspiciously? Now, to you and I'm just a person walking down the street. I don't want to be thought of as a black man walking down, but that's how they see me. So regardless of what Elba thinks, that is how they're going to look at him. That's all I'm saying. I know he wants to be referred to as just an actor, and you want to be just a comedian, but I mean, I think I told you a story about I did a show back in the day. It was a brand new comedy club, and I was going to be the opening. I was going to be one of the comedians at the opening for this club, and the guy said, "Bring your middle act." And I was going to bring a friend who's black to be the middle, to be the featured act. And the guy said to me, can you find someone white? He didn't say it, but I knew what he meant, because
he wanted you to find another white person, not another black person.
He didn't want the audience to think that it's a black comedy club or a black show, or you know what I mean? Because he felt like if white people came
because he's a racist, and that happens in all.
Right, and saw 2 black comedians on stage, they might think, "Oh my God, this is a black club. We should probably," and then white people would not come back to his club, So I was a black
I
comedian.
have,
To me,
I have a friend.
go ahead,
Yeah.
Kev.
Also, I have a friend who books drag shows, and he books male dancers. He's a booking agent, and he was telling me he had some male dancing group booked at a predominantly white club, but they had a couple of brothers in the group. So the club owner called the booker up, my friend, and said, "Hey, you got too many black guys, in this group." Yeah, so he didn't even want 3 black male dancers in a group. There's a dozen guys, and 3 of them are black. And the white club owner was complaining about the 3. He had too many black guys in that group. He wanted them to kind of, get rid of a couple of the black guys,
I
because the
salute
audience is
y'all.
mostly white girls. So, so yeah, we,
Yeah.
it
Y'all
never
can
stops. It never
blend
ends. In
that.
all levels, all professions, all levels, we deal with that crap, Carl, that you dealt with.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
And it's not the white girls. They don't care if it's 3 brothers up there dancing. You know that. It's the
No, they don't
insecure
care.
club owner
It's the white
who
men.
yeah. And the audience call didn't care if they saw 2 black comics either. They probably would have loved y'all more
Absolutely.
than the 2 white comics. We know this. We've been around long enough to know
Yeah.
that. And I know this is gonna sound racist to our white friends that are watching the show, but if you got 2 brothers on the show and some white guys on the show, the black comics go outshine.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Our style of comedy always outshines.
We just bring a different energy to the stage.
Yeah, we bring our
We bring a
pain
different energy to the stage. Yeah.
through laughter.
So man, I've been on the show with a lot of white guys, man, and they don't stand a chance, man. So, but I'm, that's just the way it goes, and with all black comedians, man. So
There's
I used to
something
book a
about
club.
our laughter.
I used to book a casino down in Maryland years ago, and it was run by white people. And the white lady comes up to me in the office. She goes, "Can you get me more black headliners?" This is a white woman,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Can you give me more black headliners? The black guys are much funnier." She said it to me in private. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was being honest, and it was an all white
We bring
crowd,
the
basically.
funny and the money.
Yeah, it was a mainly white crowd, but she wanted more black headliners. And she told me that, yeah, in private.
White people love our entertainment.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
Yeah, but I always wonder why America leaned more towards Martin Luther King than they do Malcolm X.
You already know that he is more militant, and he is more and Martin Luther King is more calm, more he's not about that. He is more with peace, where Malcolm X is
what it
standing
was,
at the
Tiffany?
door like saying by any means necessary.
You know what I think it is. My honest opinion is because I find Dr. King to be just as the radical is the wrong word. I use that word, but I found Dr. King to be just as deep as Malcolm, me personally. I think it was the religion. I think because Dr. King was a Christian, and we are a so-called Christian nation, and Dr. King was a Baptist preacher, and white people can relate to Baptist preacher. They can relate to that, the Bible, because this country was built on that foundation. The word Muslim scares the hell out of white people.
Black Muslim. Don't forget the label.
Muslim, period. Because Muslims who blew up, the Muslims who were on the plane on 9/11 weren't black. They were brown skinned, but they weren't like a Malcolm. They weren't like the Nation of Islam. You know what I mean?
Oh no, totally
so
different.
The Nation of Islam, or just Muslims over in other countries. The word Muslim, period, scares the shit out of white people. You could be a light skinned, red bone Muslim. And Malcolm X was a light skinned brother, but he was a Muslim. If Malcolm X was a Baptist preacher, he still would have got the same hate that King got, but he would be more accepted than he is. That's just my opinion. I think it was the religion thing that put him in, because right now Dr. King has a national holiday, Malcolm X would never get a national holiday because he's a
Right.
Muslim.
But also
If
his
he was a Baptist
father,
preacher, he might have a
excuse me.
chance to get a day or holiday. He deserved one,
Yeah,
but
and his
that
wife
tag
fought
Muslim, he
for
ain't gonna
that
get
day.
it.
Coretta Scott
Yeah,
King
he
fought
deserves
for
a
that
day.
day.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
just mentioned Malcolm X, and I just saw they had a news conference. The family is suing they suing the FBI and the police department for like 100 million.
Because they got the wrong person that killed Malcolm X. I think.
No, because
No?
this man on his deathbed wrote a confession and said that the supposedly allegedly the FBI and the CIA, all of them had something to do with it. So he worked for them. He was an undercover agent. He was a black man. He wasn't even on the books like that. So it came out. You can Google it. It's there. They made a whole news conference and talked about it. And
And
now
speaking
they're
of,
suing.
I'm sorry.
And
I
now,
didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go
And
ahead.
speaking of Malcolm X, his anniversary of his passing was last week,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
58 years.
February 21st, right? February 20.
Yes.
It's 20. Yeah, he was
Second, was
killed on
it
February
22nd or
21st in New
21st?
York
I think
City.
21st. Mm-hmm.
22nd, I think 21st in New York City. He was murdered in February 21st at the Audubon in New
His
York City. Yeah, so that
assassination.
was just
Yes. 58
assassinated.
years.
Yeah, murdered. Yeah, wow. So yeah, that was just this month. Yeah,
That's when
wow.
they announced it. That's when they announced they were suing because they,
Okay.
found out about
Yeah,
all. And Benjamin
right.
Crump is actually over the
Oh,
case.
they in trouble. They in trouble now.
Benjamin Crump is
Trump,
not playing with these civil cases. He's not.
and he's getting and he's getting backlash, from black people on TikTok. I saw.
All right.
They're there's a lot of TikTok videos floating around right now with black people criticizing Benjamin Trump. I'm sorry. There's Crump. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crump. They're saying that he's an ambulance chaser and that he's making millions off of dead bodies. I disagree with that. I think he's doing good work. I think he's not out telling these police to kill black people.
No, he's doing his
He's
job.
there, and he's getting these people. Money can't bring these people back, but he's making sure these people pay these families, and these families will always grieve their loss, their loved ones. But these families are getting some cash. They're hitting the lottery too because he's getting them millions of dollars. And they're going to enjoy the rest of their life, I guess. They got a lot of money. George Floyd's never going to come back, but his brothers and sisters and his loved ones will, well compensated. They're living a somewhat decent life right now. I hope they take care of their money, because they ain't getting no
Well, I
more.
hope he's
So hopefully they
training.
managing it right,
But
I hope
nobody ever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tiffany. Go ahead.
No, I'm just I hope he's training other black lawyers to walk in his footsteps, and he just won an NAACP award too.
Yes, he did. Well, he has a staff. I'm sure he has it's a group of guys that work with him. So he has a what you call a law firm. Like Johnny Cochran had a law firm. He had a bunch of guys that worked underneath of him. So we only see him mostly at the mic doing the talk, but he has a whole group of guys. So I'm sure he has, like you said, Tiff, guys that's learning, to walk the ropes, and people that work with him, and his investigators, and all that sort of stuff. It's a team, So, but I think the brother's doing good work. I think he's getting a bad rap. I think everybody's just, we criticize each other more than anybody. And I want to talk about this next week. So I don't even want to bring it up right now. I'll tell you guys what I have in mind for next week. But it's an important show we need to talk about.
We watch each other's bank like nobody else. Black people, we watch each other's bank accounts like nobody else. Like nobody ever talked about what's the name, Gloria Allred. That whenever there's whenever there's like a rape, right? Who's the name of the Gloria Allred?
That white lady lawyer.
Yeah, every single rape
lady lawyer.
Every rape allegation she's there, and nobody.
She's always there.
Yeah. Nobody don't say anything.
No, I say it. I be like, why is she everywhere you turn around? She is there, especially for like
If
anything
she
dealing
can
with
get you, you
women,
in trouble.
men.
She gonna get you.
Yeah, you in some trouble.
Yeah.
Only person she didn't get was Michael Jackson. She went
And
after
she
him.
tried. And if she could dig him up, she'll probably try to come and get him still.
Did you guys hear about the Ukrainians in England who are complaining about living next to black people?
Really? No, I didn't know that, Carl.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I got it. They're complaining about.
They're coming out and saying like, oh, we don't feel safe sending our children to schools where there's like black and brown kids. Oh, there's too many Muslims here. We don't feel safe. Obviously, that in itself is literally insane. So none of this is to take away from the strife or the plight of what Ukrainians are going through right now. But there is a part of it which is like, yo, you man are being deaded down. Like, you lot have come here because you're not safe in your own country. Your life is in danger. Your life has been flashing before your eyes. And the thing that you're concerned about is ethnics. On one hand, you got Putin. On one hand, you got a hijabi. And it's the hijabi that's worrying you as much as Putin is worrying you. Are you mad?
That's just a waste of
What
racism.
did I say about the Muslims? Told you.
Just a waste of racism, you know.
Ukrainians are running from war. They put them up in a country where there's no war, and now they're complaining that they put them next to black people and Muslims.
Yeah.
You know. They should be happy that they are out of bomb threats and missiles. I would sleep near anybody, a rabbit, a cat, just to get away from a missile.
But that just shows you, like, what did black people do? What did we do to these people?
Because we are the chosen ones, and this is what happens when you're the chosen one. Ow.
When you
Thank
can,
you, Tiffany.
Welcome.
You have a choice between somebody dropping a bomb on your house and living next to a black person, and now you got to make you contemplating which is better.
They should go back to the bomb.
Oh my God, you people are.
You heard that Paula Deen grandfather, I think either her grandfather or her father, one of them, allegedly, I think she told the story where she said they killed themselves after the slavery thing when they couldn't have no more slaves no more. He took his life. He was like, I can't do this. There's too many niggas around. But listen, some people can't handle it, so they'll be all right. I'm not worried about them.
And I saw also the guy that let me say allegedly, I don't have the video, but the guy that writes the comic strip Dilbert. There's a Dilbert. There's a comic strip in a newspaper called Dilbert. He I
think I saw that. I haven't saw it in a long time, but
I'm gonna find the clip. Hopefully I get it next week. But I saw the clip. He said white people need to just get away from black people. Just get away from us. Just go somewhere where there's no black people and live there. Just find a neighborhood. He said he did it. You know what I mean? And
so he's giving white people advice.
Yeah.
His people advice. If you have problems with black people or
just
being around black people, get away and go into your own white town. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
All right, that sounds right. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Just go find.
What can we do? You know, and you know what can we do?
Yeah.
And you know, it's just real talk.
Yeah.
So did y'all know? I wanted to give a shout out to some of the winners on the NAACP awards because you know that's the only black like awards. They gave Serena Williams the Jackie Robinson Award. Shout out to Serena Williams. Kevin on stage. If y'all don't know who he is, he's very funny. He does comedy. He had just lost his brother just recently, and it was very funny. So he won an award for his comedy. Angela Bassett won an award. The cast of Wakanda, I told you, Benjamin Crump and Viola Davis, and Queen Latifah was performing. She was doing her thing. You know, she be singing too. She sings, raps, acts. She does everything.
They didn't give Viola Davis.
What was Benjamin Crump's award for?
I think let me find out. He got an award. He did a little speech and all of that. Y'all can look that up because I'm not. But
Here's my
yeah, and
problem.
shout out to all the other winners because I don't know who, because I didn't get to see it.
I don't think that Benjamin Trump should become a celebrity, and that's what separates. And I know we live in a social media era now where everything is on social media. I get it, but Malcolm X, if he was alive, or even Dr. King was alive, I'm not quite sure they would embrace celebrity. You know what I'm saying? I think those guys were so deep and so down for the cause. They wouldn't be showing up at award shows to get plaques. This is my
No,
opinion.
and they wouldn't be.
You
Yeah,
know, think about it.
They wouldn't
I
take
don't
Cadillac
want him to become this
commercials.
celebrity. Yeah, I just don't want. I just didn't think. I don't think that Dr. King or Malcolm X would be shown up at award shows to get awards because I don't think they were in it for that. Well, I know they weren't. They were down for change. They were down for getting rid of racism. They were down for
Yeah, because it was
uplifting our people.
serious.
They were to uplift our people. Yeah, they weren't into all, was, becoming a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? So
So award, Kev.
I know Ben Crump's doing good work and I support him. I just don't want the brother to become a freaking celebrity because I think that's going to take away from what he's doing if he becomes a celebrity. He's shortly becoming a celebrity. When he starts showing up at award shows getting plaques, you're starting to become a celebrity. That's just my personal opinion. I'll throw that in
Yeah,
there
it's
first.
social. He got the Social Justice Impact Award.
And who got it before him? Like, is that a new award or was that given to? I'm just saying, who got the award last year?
So
let's find out who got the award last year. That's all I'm saying. Who got the award last year? Is this a new award that they made up for Ben Crump or this something they do every year? That's my point.
Well, you know, it's a part of advertisement too. He's getting advertisement. They all need that, anything when they show their public face like that, that's a part of advertising and marketing. Just like with the Rihanna, she didn't get paid for her services, but that was promotion for her music and her beauty and fashion line. So that's how they do it.
I get it. She don't need to get paid for the Super Bowl. She's a billionaire. I need to get paid for the Super Bowl performance.
Yeah,
Rihanna's a billionaire. She could do that free. Everybody who does that. Everybody who does a Super Bowl halftime show doesn't get paid. You're right. It's free promotion on the biggest stage in the world, the Super Bowl. But everybody that does that everybody who does a concert is already a multi-millionaire on some level. Nobody doing a Super Bowl halftime show is broke, right? They're all major stars, and all already super rich people, So they're gonna take their Sunday off to do a show. It ain't gonna kill them, But you're right. It's promotion. It's promotion.
Right.
Yeah, she did. She did a great job. I'm a big fan of Rihanna. And she's a smart lady, and she's doing her things outside of music, and she's doing her thing, man. She's getting it in, And as a woman that comes from humble beginnings,
very well with ASAP.
Yeah, and black people who start from humble beginnings, who become billionaires, like Rihanna, they're getting it in. They're doing their thing, man. So I'm proud of them. It's a wonderful thing to see that, man. People coming from humble beginnings and getting that,
Yeah. So Donna said that the guy who the comic strip that I just spoke about, who does the comic strip Dilbert, he said he called black people a hate group. She said. I think I got it. Hold on a second.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. All right, this can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon. when he notes that the
Wait a minute. It's our fault. It's our fault. It's black people's fault now.
Yeah, what he said. We are a hate group.
Yo,
Yeah.
he should do stand-up comedy and say that right in front of a whole bunch of black people. Let's see who's laughing. Because that was funny to me. He was like, just run, just get away, just get out of here. It's dangerous, just run. We see you probably somewhere in the mountains hiding in the corner away from black people.
That is pretty disturbing what I just saw. That had to be a joke or something, right? That can't be actually real.
No, he's serious, and there's a lot of people feel like him.
The guy that does the comic strip Dilbert, which is a pretty popular comic strip in the in newspapers across the country.
And he's not fired.
That
He
was
still has
funny.
his job. He's not fired. Like we fired Nick Cannon, we fired Don Lemon for saying something about women the other day. He got kicked off the air.
We quoted
I mean,
Don Lemon.
but Don Lemon didn't say that. He said that Don Lemon got kicked off the air for saying what he said about women being in their prime. He said the lady Nikki Haley's running for president. He said she's past her prime, and that got him in trouble because women groups all over the world are like, "What do you mean we're past our prime?" You're not allowed to say women are past their prime when they're in their 50s. So
y'all need to
it
book
wasn't
him.
a smart thing.
He is funny. That was funny. Thanks for the laugh, Carl. I was laughing. Me and my homegirl was like, that was like, he was dead serious.
I
Like,
don't punch that dude.
He just get away from it.
Just get away.
Most black people say they can't get along with white people, so that's a hate group.
Listen, this is why I
most
say
white
what
people
he say.
don't even live in our
Get
neighborhoods
away.
anyway. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for checking out the show tonight. Please, thank you for spending your precious hour with us tonight. Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. Please hit the notification bell so you get notified when we go live. We're gonna bring a hot topic to you next Saturday. Kevin obviously has a surprise topic that he's gonna drop on us next Sunday. Looking forward to it. Before we go, Tiffany, anything you want to share or anything you learned tonight that you want to mention?
Well, I'm telling everyone, this is like the last week of Black History Month. And our history is all history of America. So we are part of a history. So our history month is 365 days a year. So I'm not worried about that. But definitely learn your history. Again, I'm telling everybody we're going to talk about episode 1, the episode 1 next week of the 1619 project. We want to at least dedicate 15-20 minutes to highlight some points in this documentary because it needs to be talked about. It was banned, as you see, in Florida because they don't want people to know. And it's not only just people. They don't want their white children to know the history of America. But you need to know the history so we can be able to find solutions for today. Because that's why we're going through what we're going through. Deep-rooted racism. And we have to have the conversation. So definitely we love all y'all. Like, subscribe, and come back. Thank you.
Kev, anything
Thanks for
you want
watching.
to share? All right, that you learned that you want to talk about before we go?
I learned I need to watch the 1619 project starting tonight.
Please,
And
I beg
I will
y'all.
get into it, Tiff.
Please.
I will watch it, Tiff. I'm definitely going to take time and watch it. I have a few days off. I've been traveling like crazy, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm home. I'm going to watch it, And so, yeah, I think it was a good show, by the way. Good seeing you guys. It's been a while. We're missing each other, but we had things going on in the world. And so we're glad we're all back in one place, doing what we do, love to do. That's bringing the facts to the masses. Look forward to next week's show. And that's it. That's it for Kevin Lee.
All right. All right. I want to thank everyone for, like I said, checking us out. And please like, share, subscribe to our channel. And please tell the people you love that you love them. Let the words come from your mouth. Tell them.
I love you.
I love you too, Tiff. Let them know how much you love and care about them because they're not psychic. All right. So with that said, we are out here. You guys have a great night. Take care of everyone in your school. All right.
Love. Right.
With the knowledge you give, we break away from the chains. We helping you grow the Black Therapy Show. You be in a safe space dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We'll be giving you empathy, we gon' challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all the schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from our God up above. It's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show.